Remember that the change in my voice in the short righteous life is superior to a long conformist life. And on the screen you should see the main Luciferian types that are doing it, people who are pretty boys in suits trying to show everyone up. And then you see the left-right paradigm types who are there to try to destroy everyone's life on behalf of the Luciferians in suits who are ruining everyone's lives. You should also realize that eugenics is a huge part of it. They want to improve certain bloodlines, genes, and impair others. And they think that it's a good idea. And they hire various bozos, various fools to try to make it seem like if you look sickly or something, that, it automatically means someone else is magically doing better than you are. Remember, the Bible says, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, not those who are cowards who roll with, the governing class like some fair-weather gold-digging slut. Pretty straightforward. And I'll be making another video after this that overkills the points in this video. So, when we look at it, who do you think is superior? Some privileged neo-colonists whose forefathers wore wigs and massacred the Native Americans, enslaved African Americans, kept people from going to school while they pretended that they're superior? Pretending that book smarts are greater than righteousness is the tree of life, not the tree of Western education. What the hell don't people get? The cherubim is not guarding the way to a mere college where people teach propaganda and unnecessary information, unnecessary quote-unquote knowledge. But the way to the tree of life, what actually matters, right? Get a life, not an unnecessary degree. Get a life, not find your life in this world, but get a divine life by obeying God through me. So when you look on the screen and you see that I'm the top martial artist ever possible, I'm humble enough to wear a martial art outfit from another race, okay? And to explain to you, I don't do Kung Fu. I've tried it before. I did it for a little while, but I do Royal African Falcon martial arts. And I still managed to make my point because, again, they don't make outfits for people who do, they don't make martial art clothing for people who do Royal African Falcon martial arts. So I found that what was best suited to me in terms of what worked for me best was the Kung Fu gi and Kung Fu pants. So it's very straightforward, right? Woe to you when all men speak well of thee, because that's how their ancestors spoke of the false prophets. And you see some pretty boy in a suit that they try to pretend is ideal. And females say stupid things like, many females, mind you, not all of them, they say stupid things like the guy has no ambition or has no goals, and they're pointing to goals in the system, which goes back to 1 John 2:15, which says, don't love the world or anything in the world, especially not blood money based financial systems, like every corporation you could think of, like every job you can think of. The righteous are persecuted. They're not embraced by the financial system, by Babylon's system, by the corporate system, by the nationalist or globalist system. They're embraced by God and they walk a higher path. That's why even monks, even though they're part of the corrupt church system, which includes Protestants, Orthodox, Catholics, non-denominationals, you name it. Yeah, but even monks, as they're trying to make it seem like they're doing God's work, they separated themselves from the world. They weren't telling you to judge people by what kind of fancy job they have. That's a slut's mistake. That is a dumb slut's mistake. Anyone who doesn't know that is very, very stupid. Very stupid. So when you look at the pictures on the screen, if you think some right-left paradigm worm, some angry political activist dog on a leash for Lucifer is superior to that which is greater than everything else, and you're an idiot. If you think the Luciferian types in their suits and their pretty boy looks, right, with their Germanic roots, their Nordic roots, their Anglo roots, their French roots, what have you, okay, these were the main colonists. What the hell don't you get? Okay, and if they're pointing to their racial norms and their racial traditions to argue supremacy, my goodness, is that a fail? It's the cult of the spirit, not the cult of the flesh. And you can imagine some people will be offended. Lots of people will be offended by what I'm saying. It's called doing God's work. You should be offended of yourselves and your families, that you would dare to be insulted by Jesus doing God's work. You should be very ashamed of yourselves and your families and anyone else who would encourage you to behave like such a dog.